the senior agent in the Green Bay area. Been with Liberty almost 7 years. Liberty Mutual's been around for 100 years. We're actually the 4th largest insurance company in the country. People don't realize that because we don't dump a lot of money into advertising that some of our competitors do. But anyway, so home building, the cost to insure a home when you're building it is the lowest insurance cost for a home ever. I just insured a home earlier in the month. It was like $350,000 in new construction, and it was under $300 a year. It was crazy low. Even I look at that, I think that makes sense. But the reason they're so low is the statistical risk for a new home construction is extremely low. I mean, as a home ages, stuff begins to deteriorate and it breaks down, and the insurance company's on the hook to pay for that stuff. So with a new home, there's just not a lot of chance of stuff falling apart, so we don't pay out any claims for it. At least that's what we found. So when you start construction, you would want to have an insurance policy the day you break ground. Because if you get a house half built and it burns to the ground or it collapses, you have to have the insurance there to pay for the damage and to replace everything that was broken. So that's kind of one of the things I get all the time when people self-pay for it when they don't use a mortgage lender and they build a house, they wait to the very end, and then they get the insurance, and it's just like, oh man, you are very, very risky. You know, it's a scary, scary thing. So you always want to have to start the day they break ground. The other thing that people don't take into account is something called builder's risk. Whenever you build a home, you have to have a separate policy called builder's risk. It's $95 for the year through us. And what it does is it's going to cover, there's like a weird gray area. Once anything that's brought to the site is in the structure, it's automatically covered. But when it's not in the structure, then it's not automatically covered. So like if they deliver, all the shingles and they're sitting next to the house and somebody comes in through in the night and steals all the shingles, if you don't have builder's risk, well, you're out of luck, you got to buy new shingles. If you have the builder's risk, then it is covered. So most financial institutions are going to require builder's risk, but it's just important, whoever you get the insurance, that you ask just in case. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much home insurance in a nutshell. You guys have any questions on it?
I have a question.
Yep.
Do the homeowners typically drive finding, kind of like when you're looking for car insurance, you go and, you kind of look at your own, on your own? Or do, like, a lender, do they typically refer someone for?
It's all over the board.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of times it's existing customers will build a house, a lot of times it's lenders will refer, and a lot of times it's, I wrote a new construction home for somebody, and then their cousin builds a house, and they say, hey, check out Liberty because their rates are good.
Okay.
I mean, new home construction is kind of our niche in the market, so from what I've found, our rates seem to be the best when it comes to new home construction. So a lot of times it is just even random people calling in because they happen to hear how low the rate is when it's a new home. And like I said, it's a head scratcher. When it's under $300 and the home is insured for $350 grand, it just, even to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, it seems like it should be like $600, $700, but people smarter than me are doing the math, and they say statistically there's not going to be a loss.
So Stu, in our particular case where we have a home on this property already and it's, well insured and everything, I mean, do you need to take out a different kind of insurance when you tear the house down and you start to build a new house with the builder's risk and all the rest of that?
So it depends. Now, like I had one similar situation where they had a home on a property and they were building a second home on the other side of the property.
It's on the footprint of the old house.
Okay, so then in that case, you would keep the insurance on your existing home until the home is totally torn down. Do you have insurance on it now? Okay, good. Until the home is totally torn down. Then when the home is totally gone, you would cancel that policy and you would get a new policy. It's going to get real confusing though because it's the same address. So a lot of times, the insurance companies are like, well, this doesn't make sense. We just canceled this policy a day ago. Why do we have a new policy for the same address? So it gets a little screwy, but they're going to wait until it's totally gone. Then they're going to cancel it. Then they're going to start the new one when you break ground on it. But you're going to have a weird spot though, because if they start delivering stuff to the property before the other home is destroyed, you get what I'm saying? It might be in that gray area. So you might almost have to start coverage on the new home before you break ground, so that you can have the builder's risk to cover anything that's delivered to the site. You follow me?
Sure, because of that outside the structure issue?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can't add builder's risk to a home that's already existing.
You can.
You cannot,
Yeah.
At least with most companies you can't. Unless it's like you're remodeling or taking out a huge chunk of it. So you know what I mean? It's a weird gray area of what you're doing.
So will our insurance person be able to help us
They should be able to.
venture it out?
Yeah, I'm sure they
Okay.
can. Yeah.
We've done a number of projects like that, and typically we really aren't delivering new products on the site until we have the old home already raised, especially if it's going on the existing foundation. So I'd say it's a extremely rare case that we would run into any sort of issues from an insurance standpoint with that.
Thank you.
Any other questions at all? No? If you guys think of any, let me know.